or attacked big scale by the Russians. You will then have Poland and the Baltic republics, also former satellite states of the Soviet Union, feeling incredibly vulnerable. It will literally upset the whole security arrangement that has been in place in Eastern Europe since the fall of the Soviet Union.
Tomorrow, Matt looks at NATO's role in all of this. Would they ever even want Ukraine to join the alliance? With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
A reminder again of our top stories. The World Health Organization has issued a warning to world leaders that the coronavirus pandemic is nowhere near over amid record case numbers in many European nations. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken is meeting Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Kiev in a show of diplomatic support against what the US calls Russian aggression. And British MP Christian Wakeford has defected from the governing Conservatives to the opposition Labour Party. That's the latest feature story news. I'm Ben Chihaya in London.
This portion of programming brought to you by New Health.
New Year's resolution or not, at New Health they can help you on your journey to a healthier new year. From preventative exams, chronic disease management, acute illness, dental, pharmacy, and behavioral health care needs, they have you covered in 2022. At New Health, they're committed to promoting health and wellness within our communities by providing integrated, open-access health care for all. Their medical care teams offer in-person visits, curbside care, and telehealth visits. Schedule today for a new patient appointment. Curbside pharmacy pickup and mailing options are available to meet your medication needs. Curbside COVID-19 tests and vaccinations are also available. Contact New Health at 509-935-6004. That's 509-935-6004 to schedule today, or visit their website at newhealth.org for a location nearest you. New patients are welcome, and most insurance plans are accepted, including Medicare, Apple Health Plans, TRICARE, and private insurance. Get healthy with New Health in the new year.
Wow, we're just like a TV station. I can go, lights, action, and cameras. We're there. Wow.
When you said cameras, my background lit up.
Cameras. There, did it again. Wow. I didn't know you had a voice-activated background. I need one of those.
Voice-activated background.
Good morning. It's KCHW 102.7. Scott and Mike on a Wednesday, 7:22. Early start for us.
Ooh, that means we got to be better longer, right?
Better and longer, like by 6 minutes, okay?
Okay.
We can do it. I have faith. All right.
Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Bentz from Top the World, up there close to the Chihuahua Golf and Country Club, right?
That is correct.
All right.
Good morning to everybody else. I'm looking out at my still 18 inches of snow.
Ooh. See,
more.
They got it going on up there in Chihuahua North. Not so much here.
Yeah, I had actually talked to somebody this week that went out snowshoeing on Saturday, I think.
Okay.
And they said it was actually pretty good, and they went 5.1 miles.
Wow.
That's like going from here down to the radio station and part of the way back.
Wow. That's a lot in snowshoes.
Yeah. In snowshoes. And I'm thinking I would go 5.1 feet.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I have a pair, and I've never tried them yet, so I'm real curious.
Oh, really?
I'm real curious, and I haven't had the urge so much. I think this whole COVID thing and you know the distancing is wearing on me. I've gotten to the point now where I'm not even dressing or leaving the house.
Well, I won't say it shows because you look pretty sharp today.
It's just from the waist up.
Oh, okay. All right. So I was just wondering, maybe you had a virtual date later.
No, that hasn't been going well either.
Oh, okay.
Let's say virtually no dates. That would be an understatement.
Understatement?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You know, dating during the whole COVID thing is like tanked. I think since I split up with my last girlfriend over a year ago, I think I've been on 2 dates this year. It's not good. So,
not good.
Not good at all. All right. So, and I have a couple of single guy friends, and they say the same thing. It's not good.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, I wouldn't know.
That's a good thing.
I'm married, and I can't. We don't have a whole lot of dates because we stay at home. So we have like movie night.
Well, you got somebody, though, so it makes it easier.
That's true.
Ah,
That's true.
Stop your whining. A few snow flurries are possible today, believe it or not. 36 degrees for a high temperature, 33 for an overnight low tonight. Periods of snow tonight, too, but accumulations of less than 1 inch. Tomorrow morning, a rain-snow mix, high of 38. So whatever we get is probably going to melt away. And an overnight low of 28. Now, precipitation tomorrow at 93%. Today it's at 15, tonight at 84, and then tomorrow at 93. And then we're going to go back to the way it was with these mild wintertime temperatures, extremely cloudy skies, and very low chances of precipitation. In fact, if I look ahead of the 10-day forecast, the highest chance of precipitation I see is on January 30th at 24%.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so not much precipitation. That's a hard word to say over and over in the forecast. And mild temperatures, daytime highs averaging probably about 37, overnight lows in the upper 20s. So, wow.
Yeah. Well, to me, that's almost a miserable temperature.
Why is that?
Well, it's either got to get warmer or get colder because you're in this slush middle.
Yeah, where it's not. Yeah, you'd think by now we've went so many days without snow that it'd really be at least down here in the valley, it'd really be dissipating, but it's not. So
it's not. Yeah.
And the icy spots are still really bad.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I will have to say I was in Colville yesterday for 3 or 4 hours.
Ooh.
And they now take the record for the worst plowed streets in Eastern Washington.
Really bad, huh?
It's really bad.
And not to pick on that because I know it's hard to predict, but it is really frustrating when you have one of these, and it happened here in Chewelah a couple years ago, when you have one of these snow systems that comes through that's really heavy and wet, and it starts to melt and turn into slush, and for one reason or another, it doesn't get plowed. And then there's a cold snap right behind it, and now it can't be plowed, and you're stuck with these dangerous ridges, dangerous situations at crosswalks, and that's at the point, I really don't care if they block in a driveway and you got to shovel a little extra, that's kind of natural. But when it gets to that point, I think it becomes a public safety concern. And that's almost what we got stuck with for a few days the last time. You had these high ridges. It was hard to cross a street, hard for people to stop, but sometimes they just can't get to it all.
Right. Well, and once it freezes solid, then it takes forever to melt.
Yeah, and then there's nothing you can do once it's frozen solid.
The only thing I've seen them try to do is use a road patrol, a road grader.
Ooh, that'd be rough.
That does work, but it also tears up the pavement.
That's what I would say. That'd destroy your street really fast, and I'm sure that's a big reason why they don't get out there and try that. And tough on your snow blades, too, hitting chunks of ice.
Yeah, exactly.
So, there you go. So, Colville got a low score from Mike, too. Oh,
very low score.
Oh, no. I must be contagious because I pick on Colville all the time, and now you just did it. Sorry, Colville.
Well,
we love you, Colville, sort of. Okay, we're glad you're there.
The main roads are fine.
Sort of. Except for the roundabouts, it's okay.
That's right. That's right.
No, I still think it's funnier than that Colville in town has bigger roundabouts than Highway 395. Still, I'm mesmerized by that. Stuptified is my word. Stuptified.
Well, as you come into town, I had to go around that roundabout by the Chevy dealership there.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember a couple years ago when the logging truck tipped over?
Yeah.
That's all I can remember now, going around that roundabout. I come around it and I see all these brand new vehicles lined up against the street, and I'm thinking,
bad idea.
Boy, didn't they learn their lesson?
They're insured.
They're insured.
They're insured. All right, let's see. A few news headlines this morning. Southwest, a woman has sued Southwest Airlines because they ejected her for removing her mask to have a drink of water. I didn't know you couldn't have a drink of water on a plane.
I believe you can.
Okay. She must have done something else horrible then. But no, that's actually what it says, that they removed her for, maybe she was excessively drinking water.
Or refused to put it back on.
She says she was wrongly removed from a flight from Palm Beach, Florida to Washington, D.C. after a hostile flight attendant kept demanding that she keep her mask on despite medical issues, including a heart condition and low blood sugar, requiring that she stay hydrated. Southwest had no immediate comment. All right. So apparently she didn't do anything else. She was just drinking too much water. Oh. Let's move to Florida, and this falls under Scott's category of embarrassing for everyone, and that would be Republican Governor Ron DeSantis. He is pushing a bill that would prohibit public schools and private businesses from making white people feel discomfort when they teach students or train employees about discrimination in the nation's past, and it received its first approval Tuesday. Can we just, Florida's kind of like a handle. Could we just break it off?
Reach out and just snap it?
Wow. It's like every day it gets a little closer to Nazi Germany down there. Sorry, my opinion.
Do that or put a big canal across the north part of it.
Yeah.
And make it a separate country.
Wow. Yeah. Let's see. Senate and Education Committee approved the bill that takes aim at critical race theory, although it doesn't mention it explicitly, on party lines with Republicans in favor and, of course, Democrats opposed. That's the way it goes. Democrats argued the bill isn't needed and would lead to frivolous lawsuits and said it would amount to censorship in schools. I go along with that. They asked without success for real-life examples of teachers or businesses telling students or employees that they are racist because of their race. This is something we don't need to waste our time with, doing a bill like this. This is like backward movement that's just going to anger people. All right. Yeah. The other one that caught my eye, Amy Schumer. I'm not a fan. And I can't believe that someone undergoes liposuction and then posts pictures of it online. Much like me, if Amy Schumer was going to have liposuction, she should have done it on her mouth. I said much like me.
So you just said you're not a fan and you just compared yourself to her.
Yeah, we both talk too much and say things we probably shouldn't.
Okay.
I don't have to like her to share things in common with her. And coming up later today, I'll post pictures of my liposuction too. Okay. Yeah, just skip that.
Is that during the blackout period when the station doesn't work?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe I'll just live stream it on Facebook.
Okay.
Nah, I don't know. Me screaming might be kind of bad. All right. There's the only things that I want to talk about that caught my mind. Everything else was like horrid and just, I don't know, depressing. So we'll skip it.
Let's skip it. Let's go to something positive.
All right, you then. Let's go to Mike Bentz, and why don't you talk about one of the many nonprofits you're involved and what's happening in the big city of Chihuahua?
Okay, well, we're starting a transitioning period. How's that sound?
Oh, transitioning into what?
Well, we're kind of moving from winter into early spring.
Okay.
Looking forward. I mean, I was thinking about that before I got in the radio. So we're starting to look at things we're going to be doing in March.
Wow.
Isn't that kind of scary? But it is already the middle of January.
And it's moving fast, right?
It's moving fast, yeah. Yeah. So anyway, let's start out with our wonderful chamber. I talked to Sandy a little bit, and she wants to make sure everybody's aware that we have the Stay and Play promotion going. You can go on the chamber website, which is chihuahua.org. And it's right smack in the middle. You can't miss it. You click on it and they take you in. You can enter your name into a very, very nice wintertime package. A couple of ski tickets, a couple of nights stay, all kinds of restaurant coupons, some chamber bucks. In fact, Scott, you might be able to pick up a date if you go in and enter it and win.
Oh. Okay, I'll have free food, which is a bonus. And then I just have to find somebody else that's as motivated by free food as I am. Okay.
That's right. And some chamber bucks, so really, nothing out of pocket.
You know me too well, Mike.
But anyway, yeah, we're encouraging you, even if you enter, you can always give those away to a friend of yours to bring them into town.
Okay. That's a good idea.
That type of thing. The whole point behind it is to create some activity every quarter that tries to pull people into the, phenomenal town of Chihuahua and enjoy all those things that we have. Of course, chamber bucks are always available for that person you find very hard to gift to. So, and they're available, I think, at 43 merchants now. It's a big number.
Wow.
And we're starting to work on our Valentine's promotion, Scott.
Okay. Just keep putting salt on that wound, Mike.
Okay. Actually, we should have that firmed up tomorrow, what that's going to look like. And so I'll be able to talk about that a little bit next week. And, Valentine's Day is on a Monday, which is, a little bit of an off day because some of the restaurants aren't open on Monday. But we're encouraging them to have a all weekend Valentine's Day.
Okay. How do you do that, Mike?
The what?
How do you keep that going the whole weekend, Valentine's?
I don't know. Well, I mean, if you're busy Friday, you can do it Saturday. If you're busy Saturday, you can do it on Sunday.
Okay.
I mean, or maybe you're just, the romantic you are, Scott. You just want to keep it going all weekend.
All right. Maybe just do a whole week of love.
That's right. A whole week of love. So anyway, we're working on that. And then moving over to the Creative District, we had a phenomenal meeting last Thursday night, I guess, at Zoom, because, we decided to go to Zoom until this Omicron thing starts quieting down a little bit. But we're working on our grant projects and got some really, really good input. I don't know about how many people, a lot. The surveys we originally sent out, we got 91 of them back. That's phenomenal.
That is a big name. It doesn't sound like but really for Chewelah and reaching out and the size of our population, it is good.
That is really, really good. In fact, I brought that up on a call with the Arts Commission, and they had me and a lady named Joanne from Langley talk about it, because both of us did these surveys and both of us had really good results. So we narrowed that down because we just open-ended on the front end. So we got anywhere from public restrooms downtown to painting murals. But the capital grant is really very specific in what we can do. So we narrowed that down and sent out the final survey 3 days ago. And as of last night, this is through Facebook, we've had 1,100 people already look at it.
Wow.
And I think the number was like, it was a big number too, like 80 or 85 that already taken the survey, and it's still going to be available until January 25th. So I think people are starting to wake up and say, hey, maybe we ought to pay attention to this Creative District thing.
So you guys got asked to speak, so that was kind of like an honor in itself. Right?
I think it is. And it's not just me. And I really want to emphasize that. There's a tremendous amount of people that support this. I just happen to be the mouthpiece, and we've been asked several times to speak about the Creative District and what it does and how, this little powerhouse called Chewelah is getting things done. And as you're well aware of, it's because of the strong volunteer network that are here. Otherwise it just wouldn't get done.
Sure.
And we've got some new people coming on board that are new to the community, which is phenomenal. I think on the call last Thursday night, probably 25% of the people on the call were brand new to Chewelah within the last year or two. And that's really what you want to see, because you get the people who've been around a while, you just get tired. I mean, you do a lot. You're not going to say, I'm not going to do it, but it's nice to have something in the wings to kind of fill in those things. But after the 25th, we'll have it narrowed down. And then we actually have to the 15th of February to submit the projects. And then I think I picked the date of April 15th to verify the matching funds. And then it's a 2-year window. So unlike the last time where we had to get everything done in less than 6 months, basically, because of the biennium thing, this we got at the front of the grant cycle, so we don't have to get everything done until June of 2023.
So that won't be a rush situation. Well, that was hard to say.
It'll be easier on the volunteers. I mean, because as you know, with the Richies next door, you saw how busy they were.
Oh yeah.
And so because everything had been compressed into a really, really short period of time, and which was great because we got the funding. It was great because we got it done, and it was great because we really showed the state that we're real. In fact, I got a comment the other day. I was working on another thing for the creative district, and Annette Roth, the director, said, if you guys need a letter of accreditation or a letter of fiduciary responsibility, don't hesitate to call, because you've already proved that you can get it done. And so, that's a huge, I mean, a lot of people maybe don't realize it. That's huge to have those type of supports in the background. But so it's, we're also tiptoeing into exploring the idea of maybe putting in an artist co-op downtown in one of the vacant buildings. That's really not a super long-term thing, but it is something where there'll be more information to come as we solidify that. We're putting the team, I hate that word committee. So we're putting a team together to explore where it can be and how do you structure it. I mean, anywhere from all volunteer to partially volunteer. How do you jury the things that go into it? I mean, it's a big deal. So we've been doing some research on that. And fortunately, one of the new people coming on board, her mother or her mother-in-law actually either runs or is involved in an artist co-op in another state. So we're going to have some real-time type thing to help us there. So pretty excited about that as we move forward. The Rusty Putter, of course, the weekend specials are coming up, and just go to Facebook and you'll be able to, the Rusty Putter Facebook page, and those are published generally either Thursday afternoon or early Friday morning for what they're going to be. And as we already talked about a little bit, winter sports are still doing pretty good up here. Like I'd mentioned at the beginning of the show, I've had somebody that I talked to that had snowshoed 5.1 miles up here, and they loved it. And they're not from this area, by the way. They're over here doing an internship with a hospital, and they had a friend come up from Spokane, and then the two of them just really enjoyed themselves. So, and it sounds like the weather is going to be fairly conducive too, as far as that goes. Yeah, so I think those are the three things off the top of my head I had written down. I'm sure I'm missing something, and you'll remind me if I am. So,
no, it's a short roundup today.
Yeah, it is. It is. As I say, we're transitioning to this transitionary thing. I'll be at the chamber meeting this Friday morning. I've set myself up, instead of going every week, I'm trying to pull back a little bit. So I'm going the first and third Thursdays of the month, and I'll get firsthand updates then. And then, of course, I talk to Sandy once a week just to see what's going on that side of the equation. Let's see. Other than that, Brandon Hansen, our favorite, is working on some connections to look at Main Street program for Chewelah, see if that fits. If it does, if we can get that to work, that's a phenomenal program to support downtown Chewelah. I do know that Greg McCunn, the new mayor, is really interested in figuring how he can support that. And then,
And I'm going to gather that's a program that helps downtown or small town businesses.
It is. It's a program that it's probably the best way to look at it is the Revitalization program for downtowns. And what I liked about it, just on the preliminary stuff I saw, was if you qualify for a Main Street program, there's some grant money available for a person that can be the executive director for it. So you've got somebody that's their job versus, the volunteers a lot of times have, you're going so many different directions. And you qualify to get some of the B&O tax coming directly back into the community. Because, your business occupation tax now goes into a general fund, basically at the state, and then the state makes a determination where to put it. And it does not necessarily come back into the communities. And so this is a direct conduit to get some of those funds back into the community. And that's really, and for Chewelah, to me, it's going to be a big number because I don't know what that tax level is. I could find out, but every time, it's business occupation tax. So it's really it's like a sales tax on the businesses. Is the way I look at it. And so, Chewelah has to really search for funding. And anytime you can figure out a program that the money goes directly back into the community, you have somebody in charge. That's their job to focus in on that, and they're getting compensated. even if they're supported by the tremendous amount of volunteers, it has a tendency to get done a little bit faster. So we're hoping that we're going to move forward. We're working on a conference call with the statewide director for the Main Street program. It's a national program, by the way. And then once we have that call, then the business and destination committee for the chamber will have a call, and then we'll basically, if it seems to fit, then we'll take it to the chamber and see if we can make it work. But so and it's not going to happen tomorrow. I really want to emphasize people. That's why we need the volunteer support, because we may have this idea today and it may not come to fruition for a year. But we're finding it's out there. It really is. So, yeah, I'm crossing my fingers on that one.
Once again, that designation as the poorest town in Chihuahua in the state will probably help.
That really does. We kind of say that tongue in cheek and laugh at it because, you don't know how they're coming up with that. Because Long Beach was the poorest town, I think, in the state a year ago. But on the other hand, you can point to that, when you start talking to grant organizations and stuff like that. But what I'm finding out is, I think you found out on the radio station, grant organizations will look at you more favorably if you get things done and it's visible, and it's well ran, and it's, has fiduciary responsibility back into it. And you got people that are committed to making sure it gets done. And a vision and a mission statement. And
I think if anybody else is involved in a nonprofit that's listening, is keeping track of those in-kind hours. I think that really helped us, because I could show, a fair amount of people, a couple handfuls of people that were volunteering here every week, and it shows just a lot of support in the community, and they count that as kind of an income for your nonprofit. It's not really an income, but it creates that solid base that
right.
They want to see, and longevity and all that kind of stuff. And they can see that you've got several members of the community involved, and it helps.
Oh, it does. And also, you don't give them your donor list, but to talk about the donor list and the cross-section of the community that supported even financially, that makes a huge difference. And so, just the promotional aspects of things. I'm and you are, and the people involved with the Creative District or the radio station are very proud of what they're getting done. So it's easy to talk about. Yeah. And it's kind of like, currently Loretta and I are hosting an intern, and for the month while they're working on their things for school, and to be able to say, here's the Creative District, here's the radio station, here's the Chihuahua Performance Arts, the Chihuahua Performing Center for the Arts. And be able to talk about that, and they're so dang visible. That type of thing, it makes a huge difference. Huge difference.
I liked how you combined PACA and the new Chihuahua Center for the Arts.
I know. I'm trying to get that down.
It's the same thing, but yeah.
Yeah, it's so easy to say PACA.
Well, if you're done there, let's talk about PACA.
Okay.
All right. Or rather, the Chihuahua Center for the Arts.
How's that for transition?
There you go. Tickets still on sale, right? For Over the River and Through the Woods. It was opening weekend last weekend, so we got another weekend of the show, don't we? Yes.
No, it starts this weekend.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Right. In fact, I think today's the last day you can get dinner tickets.
Okay, so get on it. Carolyn was in last week on Wednesday. You can also watch that show again, get some deets on the show if you want. That's on Facebook and YouTube if you want to go back and look at that broadcast. It is, as Mike said, opening weekend. Tickets just $15. I think they should be charging more.
Yeah.
Just saying. Yeah. All right. And show dates are the 21st, 22nd, 28th, 29th. At 7 p.m. and the 23rd and 30th at 2 p.m. The dinner show, there's just one for this show, and as Mike said, it is the 22nd at 6 p.m., just the one dinner show. And get on top of that if you want to go. Tickets available at Valley Drug Acres and online as well if you want to visit their website probably. They got a link on there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right. You
Well, and on the dinner show, I found out, in fact, Catherine talked about it last week, that the board of PACA are going to be the servers.
Yes. You know, I'm just, that could be clumsy. Bunch of board members serving food.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
That might be a show in itself. All right, you mentioned COVID numbers today, and I checked into the Tri-County Health District webpage, and I was really surprised. Now, they have their online Zoom meeting today. I don't think you'd really call it a meeting. It's more of a disclosure. Hospital capacity. So this would be after last week's meeting. They have not, of course, they'll have one today, and a new posting will come up. But it said Washington State Department of Health reported an 89.6% of cases sequenced are the Omicron variant. But it has not been detected as of last week in the Tri-County area yet.
Really?
Yes, that really surprised me. Now, I'm sure with the home testing and stuff like that, there's probably a lot of stuff that's not getting reported either. But they said the rapid increase in cases over the last several weeks is a strong indication that the Omicron variant is present in our area. Now, if it really hasn't hit yet, that's just kind of a sign it's going to get worse before it gets better because, you know, we've trailed like the rest of the planet by about 2 months here in Chihuahua, it seems like, or in the Tri-County area. What happened 2 months ago finally hits us. It's a trickle-down effect.
Right.
We know Omicron is much more contagious than previous variants. I'm reading their statement. One case of Omicron can result in more than 7 other infections in its short incubation cycle of about 2 to 3 days. While it does appear to be less severe compared to the Delta variant, that is dependent on whether you're vaccinated and boosted, your age, and overall health, just like previous variants. Omicron is still hospitalizing people and causing death. January 11th, the U.S. surpassed its record for COVID-19 hospitalizations with 145,892 in a day. Previous record of 142,273 COVID patients hospitalized was reported almost exactly a year ago on January 14th. So not much difference, but a little higher, which is always scary. According to latest data from the Department of Health and Human Services, more than 1 in every 4 ICU beds in the United States is filled with a COVID-19 patient. So 1 in 4 hospital or emergency room beds, ICU, intensive care unit. As of January 11th, data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention showing Washington State has experienced nearly a 36% increase in new COVID hospitalizations in the last 7 days. It's not getting better. It's actually getting worse in our area. I know a lot of people are going, we're going to follow South Africa, and we're going to, now Europe's or England's numbers have started to drop off. And yes, we'll probably follow suit, but we're not there yet, and we're not there in our own community. So if those are true, and it's really, Omicron really hasn't hit its yes, it's going to get really bad because everybody in this area that I see in grocery stores and around town is not wearing masks, and we've pretty much given up on social distancing. So if Omicron hasn't hit us yet here in the Tri-County area, when it does, it's going to be bad.
Okay.
I mean, herd immunity kind of bad, but I mean, they say, you know, one case results in 7 other infections. So it could get really bad in our area yet.
Yeah, I was just trying to say, Brandon just sent a message on Facebook.
Okay.
And said that Tri-County doesn't do sequencing for the Omicron virus, but they say it's here.
It is. Well, they said, what to say, of course, this is from last week, increases in case of a strong indication that Omicron variant is present in our area.
Right.
So. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's kind of one of those things, you know, the hardest part to me about this is not getting too lackadaisical about it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You know,
because we're all sick of it. We're all sick of it.
Yeah, we're all sick of it. I mean, I was thinking about that yesterday when we were in Colville. We went to lunch in a restaurant, and Loretta and I and the help were the only ones that were wearing masks in the place as we came in. And you know, and so. You know, it's not that, I guess I've gotten to the point now that, you know, the communication has been strong enough. Either you're going to or you're not going to. And so,
And pretty much we're not going to.
Yeah. Well, in this particular case, yeah. In this particular case, the employer obviously enforces it. But you can't monitor, and all you can do is educate the public and hope they make the best decision. And they probably are, given their own, frame of reference. So, but anyway.
Well, I know so many people locally that have already had it now. I wish it would just move along.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You've infected enough people. Time to go.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
All right. Any other, we've got the play this weekend. Any other community news that we missed?
As you were sitting there talking about that, I was kind of going through my brain. I think as far as the PAC is concerned, I believe they're still looking for actors for the stage time for theater for the kids.
Okay.
And they took that online because of the Omicron thing. We're going to have Greg McCunn next week on the 26th as a guest.
Our new mayor?
Our new mayor, yep. Let's see. I was trying to think as I'm running down through things. Now, not off the top of my head.
All right. Let's move along then to bits and breaks this morning. One of the questions on our cheat sheet today was, I was just wondering what this was for you. And I asked a couple people this last week. What was your worst idea ever, Mike?
Oh, my worst idea ever. Oh man, there's so many.
I know, isn't that's a tough one to contemplate. Worst. Mine was buying a bar and restaurant. That was my worst idea ever.
Oh, okay. Mine, actually, I think my worst idea ever was when I was a kid, jumping from rooftop to rooftop.
Ooh.
And the last jump and the last one I ever did in my life, I didn't make it.
Ooh.
I didn't, I didn't break a bone or anything, but it taught me a lesson. I think that's one.
So now, you're a big guy. Were you a big kid?
I was a big kid. Yeah.
Did you realize you could have crashed right through a roof into someone's house?
I could have. Let's see. Another worst idea. It worked, but it was probably short-sighted. Was I had to change the clutch in an old Chevy car, and I didn't have any way to get underneath it. So I took a come along and hooked it up on a branch of the tree and put it on the front end and basically raised it so it was sitting on end.
Oh, I'm already getting nauseous just thinking about it.
Well, it made the transmission, basically right at my shoulders. It worked. I probably, in hindsight, the branch could have broke.
Wow, car could have squashed you. Did you put anything under the tires to at least keep it safe?
Well, it was on the bumper, the back bumper.
All right. Don't invite Mike over to give you automotive tips.
And another worst idea is, you remember, I don't know, this is probably way before your time, but there used to be a TV show called Rat Patrol.
I remember that.
Okay.
In reruns.
Where they had the Jeeps and they chased. And so, we had and I know there's some people that won't appreciate this story, but we used to have a ranch in eastern Montana with antelope. And so I'd take a Jeep. I had a CJ2 Jeep, then go out and chase antelope.
Just chase them, or were you trying to wrangle them too? Did you have a rope, or were you just chasing them for fear?
Well, I've got another story about using a set of tire chains to rope a steer. But anyway, chasing these antelope, they're a lot faster than old Jeeps are.
Wow.
And so, I'm behind them, and they turn, and I turn, except the Jeep decided to roll instead of going that way. And it just went over. You had a roll bar, so it went all the way over, and all it did was crack the windshield and break a thermos. you know, but you think of that stuff, and you know, I could have easily probably gotten killed or hurt.
You know, and that's just karma.
Yeah,
That's the universe getting even with you for being a dumb kid and torturing animals.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, let's see. That's true. Another worst idea was I was hired to build fence at 100 degrees out in eastern Montana, and I agreed to do it for $1 a post.
Wow. Well, I thought you were good with money.
Well, this is before I figured out that you're better off with your brain than your brawn.
Wow.
I mean, I could go on and on and on.
So there you go. Tons of bad ideas from Mike Benz.
Now, if I get further into my adult life, I'd have to say they become a lot fewer.
I don't know. The next time, though, I'm in a car with you and we see deer, I'm going to get really, really weirded out and worried. He's not going to chase him in his car, is he?
Well, you know, they say there's nothing, you know, bad about making mistakes. You know, that's just ignorance. But if you do it twice, that's stupidity.
All right, moving on to bits and breaks. Looking at 801 KCHW Chihuahua. Are you pretty good with like the texting acronyms, or do you get lost with that?
I get lost pretty fast.
Okay.
But so you're gonna shame me here?
Sure. Oh, just a little bit.
Okay.
LOL. What's that stand for?
It's laughter. Something of laughter.
Laugh out loud.
Laugh out loud.
TTYL. You hip on that one? You know what that one means?
I have no idea what that is.
That's like talk to you later.
Oh, okay.
Okay. OMW. I have no idea. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, no, there'd be a G. There'd be a G there. OMG.
G. Yeah, there'd be a G.
All right. So I don't even know what that one is. Now there's a new one. GRWM. It's kind of newish. Have you heard that one yet?
Good riddance?
Yeah. No, it's not good riddance. It's get ready with me.
Okay.
I guess we're going somewhere. It typically used to refer to content on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram that focus on showing a vlog or getting ready and invites their followers to see their routine. So, like, we could start streaming before we went live. Well, we kind of do that a few minutes before the show starts in the morning. Right. And sometimes they can see us chatting on the camera but not hear it, or getting our hair pretty or something like that. And, so there you go. Get ready with me.
You want it? I had one of the funniest minutes on Zoom this last week. I was on a Zoom call, and the person that was on the call, the voice wasn't coming through very well, so they left it on the video side, but then called in on a phone.
So there was like a delay, like a Chinese movie, right?
That's right, exactly. It was hilarious.
I bet that would be kind of fun. Nobody can figure out why you were giggling in the back?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
It was.
All right. What boss's behavior made you quit your job? Yeah, it was one of the funnest jobs I ever quit. I came back from vacation. I think I've mentioned that before, and I told him I wasn't coming back. But then I told him why, and it was all because of him. So, and afterwards, like, I went in to get my final check, and I mean, I really gave it to him, the truth, and I was nice about it, but I just said, I can't work here anymore, and this is why. Because he asked. You sure you want to know? And when I went back in and got my final check, the secretary looked up at me, and she goes, "What did you say to him?" And I told her, and she goes, "Well, it really made a difference." And I said, "Well, good for you guys. I'm still job hunting." And I thought maybe I should have told him what he was doing wrong before I quit. Because she said it really made a difference, and it had been a lot nicer place to work since I left. But she meant that in a good way. All right.
You know, that's a tough one for me, because other than, I didn't. Well, I think my last career, which was very long, I quit because of my boss's behaviors, because, he was more interested in being Mr. GQ and impressing people than doing his damn job.
And you run into those. I think yesterday and I think I mentioned we were talking about this before we got to it on the air this morning. Is in my work history, I always found women were better bosses.
Yeah.
By
well,
far.
we talked about that. Yeah.
By far. All right. So reasons why people have quit their jobs because of bad bosses. Here you go. 76% say demeaning comments. Yeah. Don't belittle your employees.
No, never.
I'm actually guilty of the next one. I just handing things off is always tough for me. Micromanagement, 59%. And I have to get over that in a big way in just 2 months.
Yeah.
Because time's ticking down.
Yeah.
So micromanagement at 59%. No work, no life balance, 58%. And I think you can get into those bosses that just, they don't understand the difficulties that pulling an extra shift or overtime can cause in your personal life, and expect you to be as hungry and as motivated in your position as they are in theirs. And sometimes that doesn't work, especially like the boss at the fast food restaurant. They're the boss, but you're working for minimum wage and you probably really don't care much. It's just kind of the nature.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I think to some degree, I've been guilty of that, because I'm an A-type personality. And so I can't understand it when Scott doesn't do the same thing,
That I would do. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And and if you recognize that, you can deal with that. I mean, there's no argument with that. But I'm really a pretty patient person up to a point. In fact, I was told once that my leadership style is democratic dictatorship.
I'm going to ask your opinion, and then I'm going to tell you what to do.
Well, actually, it was a little bit different than that. I'll keep asking you for your opinion, but if you don't give it to me, then I will tell you what to do.
Ah, all right.
And once people understand that, I think it's a very effective way to get things done. But you got to be really careful on the front end. You got to make sure you're asking the right question, give people time to think about it, put a time element on it, that type of thing. And then the other thing I truly believe in is trust and verify. I mean, because ultimately the person in charge is responsible for the decisions that are being made. Inspect what you expect, that type of thing.
Right.
Big believer in that stuff. Yeah.
All right, so no work-life balance, 58%. Poor communication at 57%. I once had a boss who was a mumbler. and he'd come in and mumble a bunch of directions and leave, and then me and the other employee would look at each other and go, "Did you know what he just said?" No. Do you know what he just said? No.
You know what's worse too is I had a boss that you'd be in a meeting and he'd take calls.
Oh.
Luckily, I didn't have to be in those meetings very often.
Well, and the poor communication thing and the mumbler, which was bad, is if you asked him to repeat himself, he got irritated.
Oh, yeah.
So sometimes he'd come in and shout demands, and you really never know what he was asking you to do. You couldn't figure it all out, and you were afraid to ask him because he'd get angry if you did, like you didn't understand him. Well, we don't understand you because you can't speak. He had that, he's that really tall, skinny cowboy dude that the women love with the big mustache. I can't remember his name now.
Sam Elliott?
Yeah. He had like the Sam Elliott mustache, so it was always in his mouth, so you couldn't understand him.
I'm filtering my words.
Yes. Overly demanding boss. Good reason to quit, 54%. Overly demanding. Expects too much. All right. And your boss should always, I think one that instills greatness in a boss is when they're, if they are overly demanding, are they willing to do it themselves too?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Never ask anybody to do something you're not willing to do yourself.
One of my favorites, at least to be on the receiving end of a job, favoritism, 39%. All right. Grease up the nose. We're going in. I'm going to take your job. Sexism only at 21%. I'm surprised. Racism at 12%. That's sad. Ageism at 11%. And then people who claim unwanted contact, 10%. Huh. Uh-huh. And then there were these stories about bosses. The boss bought baby food jars and pacifiers into a meeting since we were all babies.
Oh, really?
I had a DJ boss one time tell us that we all sucked. And there's like 18 of us announcers around a table, that we all sucked. And this is back in the day when you had staff for 24/7, you know. That we all sucked, and he could replace any of us at any moment. And if we didn't like it, we should just get up and leave. And I was so angry at that I was the only one that stood up. It's like, well, nobody's gonna. I mean, if we all walk out the door, what's he gonna do? He can't cover all of our shifts, you know. I just think that would have been a great one to get him to shut his mouth. If his whole staff would have got up and walked out the door, he'd have been ruined, and that might have just made him a little nicer, you know.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you one of my funniest "I was the boss" stories. You know, I used to, part of what I did is I'd go into different operations and do some organizational management type stuff. You know. I remember I walked into this office in Houston, Texas, and I'd bring all the people together because most people didn't know me. And so they'd walk in, and I don't know, there's this big room, probably 30, maybe 35 people, kind of in a big kind of a circular type thing. And so I'm going through introducing myself, and then they would introduce themselves. And so I'm going through the room, and here's Bobby Joe and Billy J, and, you know, RJ, and finally I get to about the 14th person. I says, "Does anybody have a real name here?" You know, and then I continue on, and I get done, and I'm talking about some of the things we're going to be looking at doing over the next couple of years and stuff. And finally I said, "Does anybody have any comments or questions?" And there's this guy, RJ. He says, "Yeah." He says, "You know, Mike," he says, "I really appreciate what you're talking about, but we do things different here in Texas."
Ooh.
And I said, "You know, RJ, I know. That's why I'm here."
That shut him up, did it?
That shut him up.
Here's a scary one. This one guy says, my boss would camp out with my car after work and then ask me to come back in and talk. All right, that's a little inappropriate. He doesn't say what happened after that. Here's another one that says that she critiqued everything I did from my writing to my presentation skills to what I did in my personal life. She was so toxic that I went to bed crying most nights. And that was a guy. Here's another one that says, I was given a no-call, no-show for the day of my mother's funeral. Ow.
Ooh.
Let's see, a couple more. He reprimanded the team for leaving town for safety during Hurricane Irma in 2017. That's the kind of the boss at the table that says you're all horrible. You should leave.
Right, exactly.
Our founder did not hesitate to yell at you or demean you in front of others. I remember getting berated once because one of my PowerPoint slides was pixelated. I felt like a pledge being hazed in college fraternities. And Mr. Vance, can you teach us about things we didn't know yesterday before we go to break?
I don't know, can I?
Would you?
Would I?
Or at least a few of them. Things we didn't know yesterday with Mike Bentz.
Things we didn't know yesterday. Man, my mind just went blank.
Oh, so
that's one of them.
All right, so you don't want to guess these. They're actually written down, but maybe you can't see them.
Oh, maybe I can't see them.
Okay. All right, then I'll do it. Let's start off.
Okay.
Some Arctic seals can't find the exact spot where they were born, even after spending some Arctic seals can find the exact spot where they are born, even after spending 5 years out at sea. They don't forget. Men think about sex 19 times each day. The amount for women is about 10. They think about it? 10?
Oh, well, you got a 50% chance you're both on the same playing field.
Wow. That makes me really, really happy, and now I don't feel quite as bad about myself. Some Arctic seals, I did that one. Hummingbirds can shake themselves dry in the rain, similar to the motion a dog uses to do the same with its fur. Birds shake using 30 times the force of gravity to complete the drying. Wow. 30 times the force of gravity.
Whoa.
All right. I told you about the hummingbird that flew right into the cat's mouth, right, Mooch? We were out camping this summer. Hummingbird right into its mouth, committed suicide. It was the strangest thing I ever saw. Teens have got, and the bird even had to take a 90-degree turn to get to the cat to figure that one out. All right. Teens who go to bed later tend to be less physically fit and more overweight than early to bed, early to rise counterparts. All right. Kids, there you go. Don't get fat. Longest underground river running for almost 3,800 miles at the depth of nearly 2.5 miles is beneath Brazil, flowing west to east from the Andean foothills to the Atlantic coast. That's the longest underground river.
Underground river.
3,800 miles. Sad people are better at recognizing faces.
Okay.
How do you prove that?
Yeah, I was going to say.
All right, we need some sad people for this test. All right. Routine weather events such as rain and cooler than average days have an annual economic impact of as much as $485 billion that reaches to every U.S. state. So routine weather events.
Weather events, yeah.
Like our cold snap. All right. Researchers found that just one lazy employee can quickly affect the performance of an entire team. We don't like carrying his weight.
Right.
All right. Siblings born at least 2 years apart perform better at math and reading than children born closer together. I wonder what the
I'd have to
secret of
agree with
is.
that, just thinking of my own family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I don't want to claim to be smart. That sounds kind of egotistical.
Oh, you?
Huh? What are you saying? I have a big ego? Oh. Well, I am only 5'4". I had to compensate somehow. When we come back, we're going to have local birthdays, news headlines, some odd news for you, and more. We're burning time blabbing, and we want you to come back where you'll hear some of these great sound effects.
That's not mine. I'm telling you, baby, that's not mine. I don't even know what this is. This sort of thing ain't my bag, baby.
Does anyone have to fear Tinkle? I have to fear Tinkle.
And that's what me and Mike are going to do right now. We're going to fear Tinkle, refill our coffees, and be back after news headlines. It's KCHW 102.7, Northern Lights Public Radio.
The Public News Service Daily Newscast, July the 19th, 2022. I'm Mike Clifford. Groups representing young people in Montana hope to stop a slate of election laws going into effect before the state's primary, which happens in June. More on that from our Eric Tegethoff.
The Forward Montana Foundation, Montana Public Interest Research Group, and Montana Youth Action are challenging 3 laws passed by the legislature in 2021, including an end to Election Day registration and stricter voter ID laws that require another form of identification with a student ID. Riley Summers Flanagan, who heads Upper 7 Law, is representing the group.
When you have a bunch of laws that restrict voting or that even nominally make voting more difficult, those laws will interact with one another to land most heavily on youth populations. So you're just going to see a natural reduction in youth turnout because you've made it more complicated for them.
The groups also are challenging a law that prohibits ballots from being sent out to voters before their 18th birthday, even those who will be 18 by Election Day. Montana lawmakers and Secretary of State Christy Jacobson say these laws are necessary to ensure the integrity of the state's elections, a top concern for Republicans.
A hearing scheduled for March 10th, the court will also hear other challenges to election laws, including a suit from Native American groups on the law ending Election Day registration. Not enough has been done to prevent another catastrophic power grid failure like the one in Texas last February. That's according to the group AARP Texas. They warn consumers will foot the bill for what comes next.
A rare winter storm left millions without power and 246 Texans dead, almost 2/3 over age 60. AARP's Tim Morstad estimates gas and electric customers will pay more than $6 billion in their utility bills to cover cleanup costs from Winter Storm Uri, with none designated for grid improvements. He adds changes proposed by regulators to revamp the electric market lack cost analysis and public input.
And ultimately, it comes down to the pocketbook, because while we all want and support a reliable electricity grid, we want to make sure we're getting what we pay for, and we want to make sure that the public's voice is heard.
While improvements may be needed and beneficial, Morstad says the initial price tag at $1.7 billion a year to be built into customers' utility bills is alarming. I'm Roz Brown.
For The Guardian, the Biden administration quietly launched its website for Americans to request free at-home COVID-19 tests on Tuesday, a day before the site was scheduled to officially go live. The website's called covidtest.gov. It features a form run by the United States Postal Service where people can order 4 at-home tests per residential address. This is PNS. The second year of the 134th Ohio General Assembly officially starts today as both the House and the Senate convene.
One of the most urgent tasks for lawmakers will be to rework the 15 congressional districts they approved in November, which were invalidated by the legislature has until mid-February to approve a new map. And while the biennium budget was a focus in 2021, this year it's the capital budget. Desiree Timms with the group Innovation Ohio explains it provides funding for state agency infrastructure needs as well as local community projects.
This is why people vote for their state reps and their state senators. We're looking to them to manage the budget and to make sure the money and taxpayer dollars return back into communities. This is something that people on the ground will feel immediately.
Legislators will submit priorities for new capital projects by August 1st. Some bills expected to be advanced this year include HB 376 to help protect consumer data, HB 389, which would restore components of Ohio's gutted energy efficiency law, and SB 236, which enables insurers using an online platform to automatically enroll purchasers in digital communications. Mary Sherman reporting.
Meantime, it's been nearly a year since North Dakota began collecting racial data on people accused of committing crimes.
In March of 2021, a rule was established for prosecutors around the state to include the defendant's race as perceived by law enforcement when filing a criminal complaint. Judge Anthony Swain Benson of the Minority Justice Implementation Committee says in an era of racial reckoning, it's vital to know if North Dakota's system favors certain populations over others.
Our justice system is everybody is treated equally under the law. That's what we're based on, and so if that's not the case, we need to take steps to address that.
He says a review of the initial data is expected to begin this spring. I'm Mike Moen.
Finally, Lily Bohlke tells us more than 2.5 million Americans stutter at some points in their lives. A Michigan researcher is among those learning more about the genetics of stuttering.
There is no known cure for it, but experts say newly identified genes associated with stuttering can help them find out if there are links to other conditions or possible treatments. Shelley Jo Kraft, who directs the Behavior, Speech, and Genetics Lab at Wayne State University, says the new genes are helping researchers learn more about the factors that contribute to stuttering or protect people from risk.
We've known stuttering is inherited for a long time, but there's been a lot of community misinformation about stuttering, a lot of stigma, a lot of misconception about why someone stutters.
She says having more information about how the genes operate that lead people to stutter can help push back against those misconceptions, to show that stuttering isn't a personality trait or caused by a traumatic event.
This is Mike Clifford for Public News Service, member and listener supported, heard on radio stations big and small. Find our trust indicators at publicnewsservice.org.
KCHW is online at kchw.org. Listen to the live stream, find out about station events, memberships, local weather, and volunteering. You're listening to KCHW 102.7.
Your KCHW Morning Show, made possible by a donation from God-Fearing Brothers Auto Center. God-Fearing Brothers specializes in auto services, including repair, maintenance, and detailing. They also stock tires, provide collision repairs, including glass, and they have an auto sales lot on the corner of Highway 395 and Main Street at the light. For more information, you can visit the Auto Service Center at 806 East Main in Chewelah. Find them online at godfearingbrothers.com or by phone at 509-935-6414.
Get in my belly!
Ah, come on, coffee, get in there. All right, we are back, 824 KCHW. You got Scott and Mr. Mike Bentz. Mr. Mike Bentz live via Zoom, like all of our morning show co-hosts have been now for weeks.
One of these days we'll be able to see each other live.
Oh, yeah. Go stand around the water cooler, tell stories. I miss that. All right.
Yeah, well, Loretta just told me that you were funny this morning because you confused me.
I did. Which time? Which time? Huh?
Okay, so what you're telling me is Scott's funny because he makes fun of me?
Yeah, that's how it works.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes I feel bad. I think some of my co-hosts feel a little abused at times, but it's all in fun, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Local birthdays. You're going to what?
I check under your car before you start it.
Okay. Uh-oh. Just one local birthday in the city of Chihuahua on the Lions Club birthday calendar today, and that is Pat Abrahamson. All right, Pat, it's all for you today. All the applause just for Pat. There you go. And there, played. Yay. All right, celebrity birthdays. Mike Bentz, help us out.
Absolutely. I've heard this first person's name a lot, but I have no idea who they are, and they're 92.
Wow, Tippi Hedren.
Tippi Hedren.
All right.
Do you know who that is?
I don't, but if you keep going, I'll Google her.
Okay. All right. Google her and see. Okay. Because if you're 92, you must have been around a while.
Yeah, an actress. All right.
Oh, okay.
Tippi Hedren.
All right. Well, then, actually, one of my favorite actresses, Shelley Fabre, is 78.
Wow.
I always thought she was really funny.
Tippi Hedren is beautiful. All right. She was in Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. And then a movie called Marnie in 1964, The Birds in 1963. So it's been a while since she's been in something.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. And then one of your favorite musicians, Dolly Parton, is 76.
She is, by the way. So don't make fun of me.
Shucks, that didn't go very far.
No. We actually have a song on the radio now with Dolly Parton in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm impressed.
She's a guest in one of the songs we play. Yep.
Yeah. No, I think she's a great musician.
And great person, too. All right.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have TV chef Paula Dean is 75. She used to be the queen of deep fried.
She's a little healthier now, though. Just a little
healthier since she had the heart attack. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Desi Arnaz Jr. is 69.
All right.
I saw that movie that, what do they call that movie with Nicole Kidman playing Lucille Ball?
It's Being the Ricardos, I think is what it's called.
Being the Ricardos, yeah. It wasn't, it was okay. I mean, I probably wouldn't watch it again, but it was okay.
All right.
Okay, and then Katie Seagal, Sons of Anarchy, and Married with Children. That's where I remember.
Yes.
68.
Man, that hair. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
All that red hair, that bouffant hair deal.
Yeah. Kind of like yours. No, it's not red.
Not anymore.
It's not bouffant.
All right. I had some random guy stop me in the store the other day and said, "You cut your hair." And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, I was like really enjoying the old school effect every time I saw you." And I'm sorry.
Well, at least you don't have a man bun.
That's right. Oh, that's horrible.
Right. Oh, and comedian Paul Rodriguez is 67.
Okay.
I think he's going to be in Spokane. I think I saw that.
Oh, wow. All right.
Yeah. I always thought he was pretty funny.
Mask up to go to that one.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. And Sean Wayans, Scary Movie, is 51. Now we're getting to people I don't know who they are. And Dre Di Matteo.
Cool name.
Yeah. From The Sopranos is 50.
Oh, the next one. Oh, man.
You better treat me well or I'm going to talk to the Brotherhood.
Let's make fun of the next guy.
Pete, whatever the hell his last name is.
Buttigieg?
Buttigieg, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, I just put emphasize on the butt.
Okay. Well, he's 40, and he's also, I think, the Secretary of Transportation, isn't he?
You know what? Actually, is he? I thought maybe he was like a senator or something. Should we look it up?
Well, he was a governor, I believe, or a mayor in Indiana, ran for president, didn't make it. And then I think Biden appointed him as the Secretary of Transportation.
He is the, you're right, he is the secretary. There you go, Secretary Buttigieg.
Okay. All right. So it just says I do read the news. Okay.
You do. You're informed.
Jodie Sweetin from Fuller House is 40.
Wow. She was the little girl. That's crazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's aging you, Scott.
I know. All right, a little bit of history. I like to call it happened today, and we're going to start off in 1883 when it was the first electric lighting system using overhead wires built by Thomas Edison. It began service in Rosella, New Jersey. All right, 1883. 1953, 68% of all U.S. television sets were tuned into I Love Lucy to watch Lucy give birth. 1953, big deal.
But I bet it was way different than Amy Schumer doing
liposuction. Yeah, how things have changed. 83, the Apple Lisa, the first commercial personal computer from Apple to have a graphical user interface and a computer mouse, was announced. Apple Lisa.
Lisa.
Yeah.
Do you have one of those?
I do not.
If you did, you could retire. You know that.
Yeah, really? It'd be that valuable? Wow.
Oh, yeah. They're pretty valuable.
Wow. Yeah, I've never had an Apple computer. It's, that's like a income class that I haven't quite achieved yet.
Yeah. Well, that's the difference in generation. I've never had an Apple computer either. But my daughter especially has never had anything but Apple computers.
And I'd like to try that, especially for like the video and audio applications. Apple is supposed to be really good at that and never locks up and that kind of stuff. And Windows is kind of a nightmare, but it has I can't afford $1,200 for a phone. I just better things to spend money on that, or $3,000 for a laptop. 1997, underwear factory in Moscow, facing a cash flow crisis, began paying its workers in bras.
No, Scott, you can't ask for donations.
Right on to eBay. That's where they're going. 2001, President Clinton admitted his big mistake. That's all we'll say about that. And 2004, Germany court ruled workers could be fired for kicking their colleagues in the butt. The court upheld a company's decision to sack a male employee who kicked another employee in the rear after a work dispute.
Getting back to your favorite boss.
Yeah, he kicked us all in the butt. 2012, legendary film and camera company Kodak filed for bankruptcy protection. Not so many pictures being developed now, are they?
Nope.
Yeah, didn't get ahead of that curve, did you? Nope. 2015 skier Lindsey Vonn won her 63rd World Cup, setting a new record after 35 years. And 2017, I love saying his name, Mexican drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman was extradited to the United States to face trial for his leadership of a drug cartel. All right. Only 2 special events today. We'll get those from Mr. Bentz.
Oh, yeah. First one is one of my set foods that I like to have as a go-to. Popcorn. You like popcorn?
I don't have a problem with popcorn. What I have a problem with is the hulls when they get stuck in the back of your tongue. And
on
you
your
gotta reach.
tongue?
Well, yeah, I was getting on the very back of your tongue going down your throat. You'll get the hull.
Really?
The little hull caught. I mean, it happens almost every time I eat popcorn.
Huh.
And until I can get my finger all the way down my throat and pick that thing off my tongue that won't come off, I almost have a panic attack. I hate popcorn for that. All right.
Okay, well, this next one is going to be a Diane Evans Day
Oh,
in May.
okay.
She doesn't know it yet, but I just told her.
That's a good idea.
It's going to be when they open the museum selfie day.
Yay!
Hey, and we do have a museum. It's actually a pretty cool museum.
It is a pretty cool
Have you been in it lately?
I have not been in it in a couple of years.
Oh, I've only been in it twice, but they've really expanded it. And in fact, I think this year they're trying to put together a Salish section with the Spokane tribe.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of good volunteers who work very hard on that.
I need to go down there and see if they have one somehow at a yard sale, and I don't remember where or when, but somehow I ended up getting a coin, and it is from the Chewelah Creamery, and it's worth $1.
Really?
Yeah, and I've been all over town looking for the creamery so I could cash that in.
Well, it's kind of like the other day, Carl, is it Pickens?
Yes.
I ran into him not the other day, 6 months ago, and I'm talking to him, and he asked me, they've got that corner, in Maine and Maine and 395, the old Chevron station.
Yes.
Okay, he says, I'd really like to, would you mind looking at that for one of the murals? Because, the whole backside of it is like a big canvas.
Oh.
And I said, okay. He says, yeah. He says, Mike, did you know that used to be the original Chewelah train station?
Wow.
And I how would I know to begin with? I mean, the first time I went in that place, it was ran by Roy Rogers, and I thought he was pulling my leg, but that was his name.
Roy Rogers, and this used to be a train station.
But so I figured, okay, I'm going to look it up and see. And sure enough, 3 pictures of it pop up on eBay.
Wow. Really? Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, I told Carl, I called him the last week or so and said, is that offer still there? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, let me throw that into the offer. No guarantees, but I'm glad you offered the building and offered the idea. Wouldn't that be cool though?
To have a train mural right there on the back of the old train station.
On the backside, yeah.
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
Yeah. Anyway, not ultimately my choice, but I think it was, it's great that a community person like that would reach out too.
Nice.
I mean, really nice.
All right. Let's see. Next up, I have this as a little fill. Adding the words, you boozy hillbilly, to famous movie lines.
You boozy hillbilly?
You boozy hillbilly. So,
okay.
First one, I mean, it's overused, but I'll do it anyways. Luke, I am your father, you boozy hillbilly.
Make my day,
yeah,
you boozy hillbilly.
See how it works? Who you gonna call? You boozy hillbilly? There's no crying in baseball, you boozy hillbilly. How about this?
I don't give a damn, you boozy hillbilly.
Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, you boozy hillbilly? I'll never let you go, Jack, you boozy hillbilly. All right. Titanic, right?
Right.
Are you telling me you built a time machine out of a DeLorean, you boozy hillbilly? And actually, the actor, I can't remember his name, he does look like a boozy hillbilly. Mm-hmm. And then,
yeah, Dr. Emmett Stone, right?
Yes. And then right as you come through the gates, welcome to Jurassic Park, you boozy hillbillies. All right, kind of fun, sort of. You into the Girl Scout cookies? I think we were talking about that last week, weren't we? Weren't you?
Yeah, I think I did. I think I brought it up. They're now available, But what I miss is you can't buy them, from the Girl Scouts in today's world.
In the COVID world? Or
Yeah,
probably
you
today's
have to
world
go
anywhere. It's
online.
just not safe.
Yeah.
That's sad. So maybe you'll remember some of these discontinued Girl Scout cookies. I remember this one, the Kookaburras, because they were a rectangular, and they were like my favorite kind of candy bar.
They were like the hard sugar candies, right?
No,
Or sugar cookies.
Crispy rice, caramel, and chocolate Kookaburras.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
All right. Then the Golden Yangles, really not cookies at all, available in the 80s and discontinued in 1992. They were cheddar cheese crackers. Juliet's, which were named after Girl Scouts founder Juliet Lowe. The Juliet was available from 84 to 85, and then 93 to 96, made of caramel and pecans and covered in milk chocolate. Snaps, those were oatmeal raisin cookies. Good, they're gone. I hate raisins.
Good.
Upside Downs. They took a take on a Little Debbie with an oatmeal cookie sandwich of their own, but unlike Little Debbie's soft oatmeal cream pies, Upside Downs were crunchy. There was Apple Cinnamons from 97 to 2001. They were sugar cookies dusted with cinnamon sugar. The apple part was just their shape. Oles, they were a reduced fat cookie. Oles were powdered sugar cookies with pecans and coconut and were available from 2001 to 2003. And then Cinnaspins, hopping on the latest fitness fad, these crispy cinnamon swirl cookies were sold in 100-calorie packs in 2008. All right, now you know what comes next is some of those rejected Girl Scout cookies.
Oh, I can hardly wait.
Skip-a-beets. These cookies are so loaded with fat and sugar they made your heart stop after just eating one. Skip-a-beets. Airdrops. When you opened the package, it appeared to be empty, but inside were the lightest, most invisible Girl Scout cookies ever made. But they had 0 calories. Unfortunately, you had to eat the box to fill the slightest bit full. Yes, airdrops. And then for the little ones, Chokey Dokies. These were Girl Scouts' most dangerous cookie, made with ingredients so sticky you needed to have the fire department on standby to administer mouth to mouth. Chokey Dokies were made with caramel, peanut butter, molasses, marshmallows, candle wax, and Gorilla Glue. Chokey Dokies. Sorry, that wasn't very nice, was it? Those aren't really available, and they never were.
Will be, yep.
All right. I know I did it yesterday, but I needed another bath today. I'm a dirty person. So
okay.
It's time for what Scott thinks about in the shower. First up this morning, cracked my head. Even if 99% of people say that you're ugly, there are still 75,270,000 that say you're beautiful. Right? Remember that one.
And they all live in Pakistan.
Yes. Scariest fireworks are the ones that don't explode. It's true.
That's actually true.
It's true. You get to sneak up on them, kind of peek over the top to see if there's any fuse going on. But what if they go off right then? I've had it happen.
Right.
All right. The bigger the air pockets, the fancier the bread. But there's actually less bread.
That's true.
Technically, your whole car is a windshield.
Okay, that one I'll have to think about.
I think you will. All right. Reviews in Airbnb are a list of random people who have slept in the same bed. This one's itchy. That's all I'm saying. All right. And the last thought I had in the shower this morning, it must be really, really, really hard for dragons to blow out candles.
They have to use their nostrils.
Oh. That is as good as it gets today. I'm so sorry. So sorry. How about a few trivia questions for Mr. Mike Bentz this morning?
Okay. All right. We'll see if we're good today.
All right. This hugely popular video game was originally owned by Russia. All right. This is one of the originals. You weren't probably into video games at all. It swirled around, and there were lots of blocks that moved. Any idea what it might have been called?
Ooh, Space Invaders.
No, it was Tetris. You've probably heard of it before, though. Tetris.
I've heard of it, yeah.
The game's Russian inventor had no idea how to promote the game and ceded the game's rights to the Soviet governments. If you're still playing Tetris, the Russians own it. Wow. If you're downloading it, that money going to the Russians.
Right.
All right. About 39,000 gallons of water are used to produce just one of these.
39,000 gallons to produce just one of these?
And it's a thing. It's not a person.
Not a person.
It's not a food.
It's not a food, right?
It's not food, but it takes 39,000 gallons of water to produce just one of these. Everybody has one or two. Some people have many more. Some people collect them in their yards.
Collect them in their yard?
Yeah.
Ornaments.
No, looking for cars. 39,000 gallons of water used to make one car.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I would have never gotten that.
I suppose it's like, the creation of the metals and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm sure, because they use water jets to cut stuff and all kinds of things. Yeah.
All right. Average office worker will have to do this 3 times a week. Average office worker has to do this 3 times a week.
Go to a meeting.
No. It's something that will deter their work, and they have to fix it.
something with their computer.
Reboot a computer 3 times a week,
Reboot it,
average
yeah.
office worker. That's way too many times, isn't it?
That seems like it, yeah. I mean, I don't think I have to do that with my phone a lot, but I've never had that with a computer.
Oh, I've only had like one phone that I had to reboot all the time. I don't think that's
Really?
a normal thing. Yeah.
Huh.
All right, maybe it's time to upgrade to an Apple there, Mike. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
I don't think so.
Maybe not. All right, let's see. About 44% of American adults try one of these every year. 44% of us try one of these every year.
40% try one of these every year?
Yes. Me and you definitely in that 44%.
A new profession.
No. A lot of people do it for a New Year's resolution.
A resolution. Oh, lose weight.
Lose weight, diet. 44% of American adults diet and try a diet every year.
Yeah.
In a survey, men said their third least favorite outdoor chore is mowing the lawn. Cleaning the garage is second. And what's the number one most hated thing for men to have to do around the house?
Paint the house.
Oh, that's a good one. No, I think we enjoy painting the house more.
Really? Is it outside or inside?
It is outside.
Outside, okay.
And it is on the house. It's not like the lawn.
Oh, it's on the house?
It's on the house.
Well, I said paint the house, and you said no.
Yep.
Wash the windows.
No. Higher.
Higher?
Yeah.
Clean the gutters.
There you go. Clean the gutters. All right, number one. Yeah, I can get that.
Yeah, me too.
That's why those new gutter screens, so you don't have to clean them, are so popular.
Right. Yeah. Well, and you get as old as I am. I'm banished from ladders.
Yeah, I kind of did that to myself after the last time I was left dangling from a roof.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Well, Loretta did it to me the last time I fell off the ladder.
Ooh. Yeah. You didn't get hurt. That's a good thing. You could have broke a hip. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, let's wrap up this very depressing show.
Slap some bacon on a biscuit and let's go. We're burning daylight.
It's the world of strange. A world gone wacky.
Out here, due process is a bullet.
And some of the scariest people on the planet.
I think you're bluffing. Be afraid. You know, you look mighty pretty when you get mad.
It's your odd news on KCHW.
Just sit back and enjoy the show.
Every day I do this, I wonder at some point whether any guy has ever used that line on a woman successfully besides, the Duke. You look mighty pretty when you get mad. And I wonder if it would work. I can't wait to try it on the next woman I make angry. All right. Let's start off with that news attack where the first sentence is true and the everything after that's a big fat lie. And
Okay.
Mike, you kick it off.
Okay. Hey, a very huge asteroid raced by Earth Tuesday night.
Okay.
You see it?
I did not. It was so cloudy.
I did.
You did?
Yeah. I went
missed it.
outside, opened my YouTube app, and watched the live stream of some guy in a nearby Idaho was doing.
Oh, somebody with clear skies. That's the only way you were going to see it.
That's right.
All right. 105,000 square foot mansion in Bel Air could become the most expensive property to sell in the United States. It's listed for $295 million, but that does include a fireplace. Wow.
Maybe two.
Who owned that house? 290. Usually when they get that big, it's because they were owned by somebody famous.
That's right. Yeah, I have no idea. It's way too big for me.
All right, be careful. Be careful
Okay,
with this
well,
next one. Yeah, be careful.
I love this next one. The world's oldest man just died.
Oh man,
why does that keep happening?
Can you do something to protect him?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Some fans of Donald Trump are hoping he'll run for president with the late JFK Jr. as his running mate. Hello, people.
Okay.
JFK Jr. can't run for office. He's already agreed to star in a Law and Order reboot.
Oh, actually, this unfortunately is I'm starting to relate to maybe this might happen someday.
Okay.
A wanted man in Italy tried to escape with the police with his walker. Scott, I hate to second guess the police, but I think that helicopter chase was it really necessary?
Well, it was a rocket walker. All right.
Maybe it was an invisible walker.
No, it was a rocket walker. It puts a
rocket walker?
I have one. It puts a twerk in Grandpa's step.
Okay.
Well, we've passed the halfway point of January. This is the weekend my ex-wife wants all the Christmas lights and decorations to come down, but I'm trying to convince her that her home would be a happier place if she left them up as a Super Bowl tree. Just winging it.
Winging it? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, a jury in Tennessee awarded a guy $9.4 million because a Cracker Barrel waitress served him a glass of chemical kitchen cleaner instead of water.
Oh, I wonder what kind of tip he left.
Well, wouldn't you think the water would smell funny? Okay, not sure why you'd serve kitchen cleaner when most Cracker Barrel's menu will clean out your inside.
Oh, that's not so true. I would say, in general, out of any restaurant, that's probably the best food.
I thought, I've only eaten it twice that I can think of, maybe 3 times, and I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I mean, generally, I would say if there's a whole line of restaurants, national restaurants that I'm going to pick, it's either going to be that Red Lobster or Cracker Barrel. It's probably my favorite.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Research shows the guys who are really good at video games have a region of the brain that's larger than usual. Too bad it's the part of the brain responsible for remembering to pick up your underwear off the floor. Yeah. Those people are all actually usually really messy, those video game players.
Okay.
True, I think. All right, on to wacky but true. We don't add anything to these stories besides sound effects. Totally self-contained stupidity. Tell us about the water buffalo, Mike.
Okay. Only in California.
Mm-hmm.
The California Highway Patrol responded to a report of an animal wandering down the road in Fresno on Monday.
Wasn't me.
It wasn't you?
Mm.
Okay. All right. Well, I've been to Fresno. It could be any kind of animal. It was caught with an assist from a neighbor who returned it safely home. The animal was a water buffalo. After calling in and reporting the water buffalo, a resident and an officer managed to steer the full-grown bovid into a fenced-in area and alerted its owner.
Wow. I didn't know they allowed water buffalo in Fresno.
Yeah, well, I didn't know they'd be there. But, they're down in South Texas. Did you know that?
Yeah.
They actually have a hunting season for it in South Texas.
Oh. Yeah, bovines. Do you know where most people go to college in Texas?
Do you want what I consider the real answer or the funny answer?
Either, both. What are our 2 choices?
Well, I'm going to say University of Texas.
Really? All right. And then what's your funny answer? You don't want to share it with the
Amarillo.
Amarillo University?
Yeah.
No, you missed them both. The most popular university in Texas.
When I grow up, I'm going to Bovine University.
See?
And it's on the King Range.
That's right. That's how you catch those bovids. All right. A Russian artist has been arrested for creating a snow sculpture near a burial site in St. Petersburg. Ivan Volkov was criminally charged for desecrating the burial place of the dead when he created a 16-foot-long poop sculpture.
I'm glad you got that one.
I know you hate those kind of things, so
I do.
Okay, and just to walk by it.
Oh, that's so disgusting. Oh my God, that's the worst thing I ever heard in my life.
Okay, now you can go with the giant potato story.
Okay. Oh, what is thought to be the world's biggest potato will undergo DNA testing in Scotland.
Important.
That oversized tater named Doug,
D-U-G.
Doug, was found in a garden in Hamilton, New Zealand, weighing 17.4 pounds.
Wow.
That's a big potato.
Wow.
Bolin and Donna Craig Brown were cleaning their vegetable garden in August of 2021, and they made the discovery. Colin's attention is now focused on getting into the record books with the biggest spud ever. Currently, the Guinness World Record holder is the largest potato is 11 pounds. To prove the spud is really a spud and not also genetically modified, the owners have to do a DNA test. And then they'll sell it to McDonald's.
Ooh, that's a lot of fries. All right.
That's a lot of fries.
Let's go live to the potato DNA testing facility. Huh.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Huh. Sorry. Danielle Shapiro, I should say, wanted to get her money's worth at a $50 all-you-can-eat sushi buffet in Mountain View, California. Doesn't that seem a little expensive for a buffet? $50?
Seems like it, yeah.
Because I was thinking...
But it is sushi, and it is California.
I was thinking she was a pig, but now that I see that it's $50, I would have got my money worth, too. Inside, she chose to indulge a little too much, including... So this is beside the other things she ate. 32 rolls of sushi. That's right. Sushi. Her uncooked fish delights left her feeling a bit raw inside. Following the binge, Shapiro was rushed to the emergency room with severe stomach pains. You would think it'd be like rotten fish or something, right?
Right.
Yeah. She was diagnosed with gastroesophageal reflux disease, commonly known as acid reflux, caused by raw fish. Wow.
Are you a sushi guy?
No, I couldn't even get one down without vomiting. How'd she eat 32?
Yeah. Well, I'll eat it, but very selectively.
It's called sushi reflux.
Sushi reflux. Okay.
Uh-huh. And you should see the size of her after that. She looked pregnant after 32, sushi rolls.
Get in my belly!
I saved it for that. All right, next one, last one.
Oh, I love this next one.
Yeah, you okay with
Police
that?
in China arrested a 26-year-old for allegedly stealing 4 pairs of women's underwear from a coin laundromat.
Oh.
Frustrated, the police released surveillance video to the public. The next day, the suspect's mother went to the police and turned over roughly 400 pairs of women's underwear that she had found in her son's room.
Oh. Do you get arrested for that, or you just get help?
You get help, yeah.
All right. I think this whole kind of thing is caused by Molly Ringwald.
I can't believe I gave my panties to a geek.
Yeah. And then, of course, the kid, proper response when you get caught with 400 pairs of women's underwear. Not saying I have, just the proper response is...
That's not mine. I'm telling you, baby, that's not mine. I don't even know what this is. This sort of thing ain't my bag, baby.
And then if you actually get arrested...
This can't be happening, man. This isn't happening.
And if you end up in jail...
Well, this whole place sucks. That's right, it sucks.
And for me and Mike, it's more like this.
Toga, 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 toga,
Oh, thanks for sticking with us. I know that was really, really tough. I'm Scott.
I'm Mike.
And we thank you for being here today. Remind you tonight, let's see. Oh, it's Wednesday, 6 o'clock. Bluegrass music starts different genres every couple hours. Tune in. It's the music education station. Other than that, any wise words from Mike?
Ooh, don't forget those tickets to Love, Laughter, and Lasagna. If you want the dinner show, you got to get them today.
All right, there you go. We got a big play this weekend opening up at the Tweedle Center for the Arts. Get your tickets, Valley Drug and Acres. Thank you, Mike, for being here.
No, thank you.
And keep on listening to Northern Lights Public Radio. We are KCHW 102.7.